On this episode, we're going to see if we can't at least find one cover for the Black Knight back here. Let's see what her motor's like. Is this engine locked up or what? Let's go. We are going to try to source some covers here. So far what I have found here is that I dug into some of my other bikes and I pulled this cover off of this parts bike that came with it. That came with the Black Knight. That parts bike came with it. And let me show you what the case looks like. So here's the side panel right here. And yeah, it's black. Which leads me to believe that for some reason they took that side panel off of the Black Knight and tried to put it on that parts bike, and I'm not sure why. I pulled the oil filter cap off as well. That fits, of course, right here, and the ring is there. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to refurb this up and make it look not so atrocious. So what am I gonna use? So basically this is what I'm going to use. I'm going to use some gasoline, I'm going to use a drill, and I'm going to use a little wire wheel that goes on the drill. I'm going to try to clean it up the best that I can, and then I'm going to repaint it with some high temp ceramic coated black gloss paint. Okay, so the first part of what I'm going to do is I'm just basically going to take a rag here, and I'm going to put some gas on it. Like that, and just see what comes off, if anything. Move this O-ring too, because that O-ring's still pretty pliable. So some of it came off, not a whole lot. I'm basically trying to look to get all the grit and grime off of it, anything that is going to cause the paint to chip off. Prior to hitting it with the wire wheel, or actually it's more of like a wire weird broom shaped thing. Okay, so like I said, if you can see this right here, this is just I think I bought it at Harbor Freight. I think it's spent 99 cents on it. It's actually worked really good for a lot of applications. Now with this being, pretty sure this is cast aluminum. These are not aluminum. These are stronger, so I'm not going to bear down on any of this because I don't want to mar it too bad. As you can see, it's starting to leave a bunch of fine swirl marks. I'm hoping to use some higher grit sandpaper to get that out. I'm not pressing very hard at all, though. I'm letting the wire wheel do the work. I'm letting the wire wheel do the work and not the pressure. give it a wipe down here. Kind of see where we're at. Now that blemish was already there, not by me. It looks like it might have been by a rock or something. And this isn't going to be perfect, but it should be at least a little bit better than what it was. And it'll be a good, fresh surface for the for it to adhere to. So now I'm going to get some sandpaper and I'm going to try to get some of these swirl marks out. Okay, so for now I have some 400 grit. I have some 600 grit, and what's this? There's some 800 grit in here. This is like a combo pack. I think I'm going to try straight off to use the 600 grit. Oh, what's this? Yeah. So here's a little piece of 600, and I'm just gonna, for right now, I'm just gonna use it on the dry sanding. Just to see, and yeah, it definitely, even just dry sanding, it's taking all those swirl marks out. And that's what I want it to do. I want it to soften them now. That ceramic paint will fill in some of them. Now, there's not really anything I can do about that. That looks like, I don't know, something hit it. Maybe a rock or something. But 400 grit does seem to be taking all the swirl marks out. So that's good. So anyone who was worried about maybe there being swirl marks in here, don't worry. Looks like this is taking care of it just fine. Now, of course, if this was like my other black bike that's sitting right behind you, where I wanted a polished finish, I would be a little bit more meticulous, but since this is going to go on the Black Knight, and while it would look kind of cool to have chrome covers on it, or polished covers on it, yeah, I think with these dimples and stuff like that, I think it's best just to stick with the black. So I'm just hitting every area that I can. I kind of wish that that it was hotter out so that this ceramic paint could really bake out there. That would definitely help. Also, if I had some etching primer, I don't see that I have any. That's okay, right? It's a budget build, so we cut a couple of corners. I won't tell if you won't, and later we can always take these covers off and repaint them if we need to. You will see that this whole process is only gonna end up taking me under an hour, except for paint. So now the sandpaper is leaving some light swirl marks, and if I were to use that 800, it would definitely get them out. But to tell you the truth, I am not too worried about them because the paint's gonna cover them. So. You do want to try to get off as much of the grease as possible, though, even if it's on the bottom side, because the paint is likely not to stick to the grease and road grime and all of that. But you can already see how it looks a bunch better than what it did when I originally started out. Get into a few more of these holes. Just kind of make sure that there's not an excessive buildup. We need to do this cap too, since I hit it with the wire wheel. Just trying to get the swirl marks out. See, it takes them out pretty good. It puts really fine this, is this 600? The 600, it puts really fine scratches in it, but that ceramic paint's gonna, I'm pretty confident that ceramic paint's gonna fill it in. That ceramic paint's really good, I think. You can buy it at your local auto parts store. It really don't cost all that much. I think it's like $6 or $7 a can, and a can goes a long way. Fact is, the same ceramic paint that I'm using on this is what I painted the inside of the megaphones on my other black bike with. So, yeah, I'm just trying to get the majority of this off. And of course, after time and me messing with it, it's gonna flake off. I mean, you know, I have no way to cook this. I don't have an electric oven anywhere around, or to powder coat or anything like that. So it's just gonna have to be what it is, right? Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to flip this pizza box over so it's kind of cleaner, so it doesn't have all that road dust on it. I'm gonna get me some more gas. If you don't want to use gas, you can use acetone, you can use mineral spirits. I'm just using gas because, well, I got gas. So I give it one more wipe down. Just to try to free any of the dust. And as I'm wiping it down, I really should be wearing gloves, but as I'm wiping it down, I'm keeping one hand always on here so I don't get any of my fingerprints on there. And I'm still able to hold the case down, so yeah. Ooh, it's a nice mild day out, but this is one of the days where I wish it was a really hot day. That way this could really cook. But got a little bit of sun, we'll see. And usually the paint says that it takes 10 minutes between coats, so just be aware. I'm not gonna put you through all of it, but okay, so we're going to give this a few to dry, and I'm probably going to put a little bit of tape. If you can see where I'll move this a little bit so you can see, put a little bit of tape around the perimeter where this slides in, just because I don't want a buildup of paint there that would make it hard for the oil filter cap to go on. So I've got some painter's tape. I'm going to try some painter's tape. It doesn't even really need to stick very well. It just needs to make sure that I'm not spraying right on it. So let me get that. Okay, this is just your average painter's tape here. I don't know, maybe it's not average. It says it's 3M delicate surface. Remember, all of this is going to be under that cap. So even if I end up getting it to where it sticks out a little bit, it's still going to be okay because it's still going to be covered by that black cap. I'm basically just wanting to make sure that I'm not going to have a buildup of paint that is going to make that cap not slide in and out like I need it to. So it isn't anything too special. Sometimes when you get them too tight like that, you just kind of rip them. And then you can use little pieces of tape to plug the gaps. Kind of like that and like that. You can see it's hanging over a little bit, and it's not a big deal. I'd rather it hang over a little bit than not enough, and then we have issues there. I try to hit all of at least this face. And let me show you that. So see, that looks pretty decent. You can see the tape kind of in there. Okay. The next thing I want to do as well is I'm going to tape this part. Why? For the same reason. Because I don't want any buildup just in case there's some overspray. I don't want any buildup preventing my cap from going on. There we go. Just something like that, no biggie. Okay. Okay, so this is the paint that I've chosen. It is Duplicolor Engine enamel with ceramic. Can stand up to 500 degrees Fahrenheit. It is resistant to oil and fluids too, which is kind of nice. I've been shaking it for, I don't know, a couple minutes to make sure it's all nice and mixed up. I also have some high temp clear if I want it to be even glossier. We'll see. I'm pretty sure this is gloss black. I'm almost positive it is. Yep, says gloss black right on the back there. Gloss black. So I think what I want to do, I'm going to lay a little bit more cardboard to catch the overspray so I don't spray it on my floor. Okay, so we're just going to paint it in long strokes. I usually do a test stroke first just to make sure it's coming out well, and then it's probably going to wipe off of this. If not, I'll put a new O-ring in too. But here we go. For the most part, this paint is self-leveling, so it actually works pretty good, I think. And I like the fact that it's got ceramic in it. It's infused with ceramics, so. Now, of course, this isn't a professional paint booth, nor is this a professional paint job, nor am I a professional painter, but we can already see that this is going to look a lot better than what it was before. We're going to go ahead and let it dry for 10 minutes, apply another coat. I like to do at least 2 coats, and then I might end up doing 2 coats of clear as well. I won't bore you with that. Okay, so another thing that I'm going to do while the side cover is drying, or in between coats, got to see if this thing's locked up or not, right? And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take out the spark plugs. Okay, there's one on here, one on the opposing side. We're going to put a little bit of, I don't have Marvel Mystery Oil. We're just going to use a little bit of 5-weight 30. Put a little bit of 5-weight 30 in it. Try to rock the back tire like I did Big Red. If you are interested in seeing how I originally did this on Big Red, then go ahead and look at that video. Okay, so I have a ratchet on the first one. Ooh, it's in tight. Wow. That was in there pretty darn tight. And just a quick miscellaneous note, Harbor Freight, they have these, they're not metal, they're composite ratchets, and so far, they kind of beating the crap out of it, and it hasn't broke on me yet, so we'll see. And if it does, it's Harbor Freight, and so they'll give me a new one, so that's good. Okay. Spark plugs will tell you a lot about a bike too when it was running. Smells like a little bit of oil. Overall, it doesn't look too bad considering running NGKs in it. It's not bad. Okay. Put this aside. I'm gonna go around and get the other one. Okay, so here's the second spark plug. Second spark plug basically looks the same. Maybe a little bit lighter. Smells the same. Smells like it's been sitting around for forever and a day. So now that we have that done, we're going to pour a little bit of oil down each one of these cylinders. Of course, it's going to run down the bottom and out, so I'm going to grab my catch pan and try to catch what I can. Okay, so I put a catch pan on both sides. There's one down here. Let's see if you can see it a little bit better. There you go, maybe. But anyhow, trust me, see? There's one right here. There's one on the other side as well. I've got a funnel. It'll help me a little bit to at least divert the oil. I do have another funnel that I might use, but we're gonna try this one. Now I'm not gonna pour a whole bunch in there. I'm just gonna pour a little bit, enough to try to coat the cylinder. You know what? I'm gonna get my other funnel. Okay, so now that I have my other funnel, it's got a hose on it. This will allow me to really get into that cylinder to where I don't make a mess, or at least as big of a mess, right? So it should go right into the spark plug hole or thereabouts. Just like that. A little bit of oil. Ooh, that was probably too much. I forgot that this was 5 weight. I'm going to go ahead and turn this knob, because that knob that is on this funnel stops the flow. And I'm going to go ahead and go around to the other side real quick and use the rest of this in there. Okay, so now I am on the other side of the bike after putting oil inside both of the cylinders. I spilt a little bit, but shouldn't be too bad. Now I need a pair of vice grips so that I can put them on the gear shift, because I don't have a gear shift lever, so that I can get this into a gear. It's going to be tricky because, yeah, the clutch cable isn't hooked up either, but we'll see what we can do. So there's like third, there's fourth. So we're going to put it in like fourth, and the reason why is this. Let me move over here once. Have you ever tried push starting a motorcycle or a car when it's in first gear? It's an absolute pain in the butt, isn't it? But if you put it in third gear, second gear, third gear, fourth gear, it's a lot easier to get the tire to grab instead of just skid. And that is essentially what we're trying to do here. So this is going to be a long process, and there is no guarantees that it is going to work. But basically what we're doing is we're going to rock the tire back and forth. And then hopefully, eventually, we'll get some play. We'll get the rings to seat off of the cylinder wall. We don't just want to jam it or just try to push start it, you know, just crank on it. So rings are probably fused to that cylinder, and they're probably just going to snap. So instead, I poured the oil down it. I'm just going to massage it a little bit. It might not even break loose today. I might have to let it sit and let it run down. But we're at least going to try and see what happens, okay? So the way that I do it, I basically just have 1 foot on one side, 1 foot on the other, and this is it. Just doing this, and I'm doing it really lightly. I'm just trying to make some vibration. That little bit of vibration that I'm making is going to cause that oil to go into places where it wouldn't have went before from it just sitting, or it would have took a longer time. Yeah, that back brake definitely sounds like it might be a little bit froze up. You hear it? So this is all that we're doing. And I know it doesn't seem like much, and I know it seems boring, but we don't want to jam on it because I don't want to break the rings, because if I break the rings, then I gotta rip the heads off, the jugs off, buy new rings, see if it's marred the cylinder, or cylinders rather. I don't want to do that. So instead, it's just this. So maybe I'll just fast forward it for you so you don't have to see all this. This motor is definitely locked up though. There's no doubt about that, it's locked up. There it goes. I definitely just heard the piston go up and down. See that spinning? Starting to get lubed up. This is all we do. I put some more oil in both cylinders, and now we're gonna keep on doing. What I want to try to do is at least get one full rotation, if not 2 full rotations, if we can. So let's just start. You can see the Bridgestone right here. There is no Bridgestone on across from it. Across from it, it says Spitfire. So we basically want it to be able to go back around until we see Bridgestone again. Once again, I'm not forcing it. I'm just letting the oil do the work. I think right there's the lip. Feels like it, or at least one of the lips. This can be a long and arduous process. You can see it's starting to move a little bit better now. Gotta wear those grooves down. We don't want to mess up those rings. Look at how far Bridgestone is now. We're just playing with it little by little. You're gonna hit those ridges, and once you hit those ridges, just gotta back up. It'll happen. Just gotta go gingerly. And this isn't by any means a method to show that the bike's gonna run and it's not gonna smoke and that the rings weren't already bad or some other kind of catastrophic failure prior to me getting the bike. But what this at least shows me is that if it's not locked up, if we get fuel, air, and spark in the right combinations, might be able to get this fire. Might smoke like a mofo, might knock and hammer like a mofo. We won't know until we try. That's one of the fun things about getting barn finds like these. That's why I don't pay a whole lot for them. That and the fact that they don't have titles. Oh, see that? That oil got down into that cylinder a little bit more. Now look where the Bridgestone is. And it's going to get a little bit messy too, because one of these pistons are going to be on the upstroke, which means the amount of oil that I poured in, if it hasn't seeped down, it's sitting on top of that piston. When it goes up to top dead center, or on whichever stroke it's on, it's going to push that oil back out that spark plug hole, isn't it? Yeah, so it can get a little bit messy too. And now, I think it's almost broken all the way loose. That Bridgestone, we made one full revolution. Gonna try to do one more revolution, and then we know at least we're lubed up for now, and the cylinders should stay lubed up for a little while, hopefully long enough for me to source another cover. Did you hear my dog? Hopefully enough for me to source another cover for the wet side. I only have one for the dry side. I could pull one off the Mad Max bike for the wet side, and I still might, but I was kind of wanting to do that bike too, so we'll see. Okay, so I just went ahead and applied the third coat of ceramic paint. This will be the last coat that I put on, and then I will put some high temp clear on as well, just to make sure that it's a little bit more scratch resistant, because of course your feet rub up against it. There's rocks that can hit it, stuff like that. It's not going to be the best, because once again, it's not as if I can cut or cook these parts. I don't have an electric oven available, but at the very least that I can do, it's going to look a lot better, and it's going to look like it's supposed to be on the bike, right? That's what I'm hoping. So let's figure out if we can do anything else to the bike while this is going. Okay, so let me show you what's going on. This is what I call them. This is the bike I call the Mad Max bike. The bolts were already out of the wet side cover, so I was able to pull it off. And I forgot that I don't know, what do you call this? The stator? I don't know. Sure. These little coils may spin around this, make an electrical current. I don't know what you call it. Is this a stator? Sure, that's what I'm going to call it. At any rate, the bundle of wires, your main wires that go up into here, and like I said, I'm not sure if this is your igniter or your rectifier. I'm not sure what they call that, because remember, I'm not a pro. I'm just a guy with a YouTube channel and a bunch of bikes. I'm going to have to hunt down all of these wires where they plug in and unplug them, because let me show you. So here we are looking at the Black Knight, and notice anything? Let me pan a little bit this way. Let me pan a little bit that way. Yeah, there's no wires. Stator wires, whatever you want to call it, your main wires that go in. That's probably why this rectifier, or this igniter, whatever you call it, that is right, oh sorry, that is right here in my hand. It's probably why that's unplugged. Originally, it should bolt, I believe, on the back side of this piece here. Some of the wires go to that, and the other wires will go to, well, I'm not too sure. So that is going to be an issue. On the plus side, remember when I was talking about not having any of that? Let me show you. Back at the Mad Max bike, and look, there it is. The spline, the whole assembly with all of the gears, and even the little, I have another one of these little hooks, or little, I don't know what you want to call them, but so this whole assembly, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this wet side back on, because I do not want this to fall out. They will fall out, and once they fall out, tink, 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 they all fall on the ground, and then you have to figure out how they went back together. So I am going to put this side panel back on so that all of that stays, and we're going to have to tackle this other side on another episode, okay? So guys, that's going to be it for this episode. I will get the side panel, the panel that we were painting, I'll get that cleared off camera. Hopefully you learned something. I learned something too. Let me know what you thought of this video. Please click that like, click that subscribe, click that notification bell as well. Comment down below. What is that thing? What is that round thing called? Is it called a stator? Is it called a magneto? I'm not sure what it's called. Back in the day when I was a kid, me and Jeff used to have a little Kawasaki 90 and we called it a magneto. Nowadays they may call it a stator. I don't know what they call it, but whatever it is, it's going to be a little bit more entailed than what I want to deal with in this episode, and want to save it for another episode. Plus I haven't even got the title for the bike yet, but I'm so wanting to do this and get the Black Knight up, or at least hear him growl a little bit, right? So like I said, please click that like, please click that subscribe. Please share this video. I'm trying to pump out videos to show that I'm being active in the community, and I would love for you to be active as well. So feel free to comment. I noticed there are a couple of things that are not going to work from the 750 to this bike. One of which is the top of the throttle assembly. It is totally different. I am going to have to source that. I will jump on eBay, or I'll jump on some of the forums, see if I can't find a top piece. That would be good. I think that the actual throttle sleeve, or whatever you call it, the thing that actually goes rum rum rum, I believe that that'll work. It is just the cap, the top of the cap is not going to work. Other than that, guys, I really enjoyed this video. We really got a lot knocked out. Did you think that this thing was going to be locked up? And if you did think it was locked up, did you think that I was going to be able to free it like that without snapping rings? Did you learn something? I want to learn something too. So stay tuned for another episode. I am going to do everything I can to provide episode after episode to get this going on. And don't worry, for all of you Big Red lovers, there will be some Big Red episodes going on too. I'm just waiting for the postman. Okay. With that being said, make sure everybody, please, especially with it being the dog days of summer, make sure to keep both of those wheels on the road. Thanks.